I can't tell you how loud it is inside this stadium right now. I've never seen anything like this. Morocco fans, each and every single one of them on their feet. Morocco into a quarter-final of a World Cup for the very first time. Unbelievable scenes here. Morocco did absolutely everything in that game to stay in it. Achraf Hakimi, born in Spain, sends the Spaniards home. That is unbelievable, Hal.
Incredible. The atmosphere is absolutely bouncing, and those Moroccan players, they have done their country proud to come up against the Spanish team who've, dominated the game in the way that they did, but they stuck in there. They defended completely from the first minute to the last minute, and wow, look at those celebrations. Incredible.
Amazing, amazing. Right now I don't even know what to say. My heart rate is so high up. This is the reason you love the game. This is the reason I love the game. To be honest, Morocco fully deserved, they put their hearts out.
They just dropped their coach. If you're going to do the bumps, at least catch him. He won't care, will he, Joe?
He will not care one bit, Laura. It's a real honour and a privilege to be here. We're right by the Morocco fans, and the emotion is palpable. It's amazing. Why we love football. I've said before the shootout, they was heroes, whatever happened. But now, football's about moments. And Hakimi, to do that, the minerals that he's shown there is unbelievable. He's just sat him down and gone, there you go, Wallop, we're going to the quarterfinals.
He's been watching Mbappe, hasn't he?
Oh,
his teammate.
Ice cold. Oh my God.
These guys are going to be absolute heroes to Morocco, and especially that finish. That was just unbelievable. Listen, we watched them the whole game, and we wondered how they were going to do this. And we said the goalkeeper at one point, is he a weakness? He was a hero today, Joe.
We criticised him for his distribution. He looked like he was nervous, but when the penalty's there, he grew. He puffed his chest out. And when the Spain played, he looked huge in the goal. He had a presence. And look at these scenes, like. It never gets old. It never gets old. And for the first shock we've had at a World Cup in the knockout stages, the coach, it's this sixth game in charge with this group of players. They was a mess. Ziyech didn't want to turn up and play with his last coach. They couldn't get anything going, and they turned up. And from the first game, where they defended against Croatia, and they just carried it going. And this is the romance. This is the love story of the World Cup. And look at the coach; it's incredible. Absolutely loving this.
Morocco under their new manager, even though they just dropped him, they've actually only conceded one goal, and that is a special stat and just shows you how resolute this team is.
Definitely. We highlighted. You can't even hear anything here. We did highlight, their compactness, how good the defense together. They made it so hard for Spain to create the chances to get in and penetrate those lines, and pays off. And he did it in 6 months. That's unbelievable.
Absolute heartbreak for Spain. Alvaro Morata was brought off the bench in order to score. He didn't score. They go to penalties. They actually went out the Euros on penalties as well, and now they're doing it here. That is a horrible way to get knocked out on a major tournament, Hal.
Yeah, it is. It's the second tournament in a row that they've been knocked out. Luis Enrique, he's obviously done his 1,000 penalties, but it shows, you can only practice so much when it comes to the big occasion. When it comes to when it matters, it's about who's ready to step up to the plate. And Morocco, goodness me, they were phenomenal from start to finish, as we said, and they had to be physical from the get-go, and they were.
Joe, does it show, when you talk about that, and we mentioned this earlier on, the Spain team encouraged to do 1,000 penalties. Sometimes, can you just not replicate something like this?
Not only can you not replicate it, it's intelligent to try and practice something that you're going to do, but there's nothing that can prepare yourself. There's something the manager's got to look into the player's eyes. He's got to have an instinct, a managerial instinct, a feel. What players fancy it? How's the energy going in the state? I'm a great believer in that. And this Morocco team, as the game was going on and incidents were happening and things were falling for them, and you see that they was almost superhuman. The way Amrabat, for instance, in midfield, he must have covered about 20k.
Yeah.
And they had the energy going with them, and you just fancied them going into the shootout, and the place is alight.
Yeah, definitely. You just mentioned Amrabat. For me, he is player of the game. How much he covered and how did he did. It's been amazing.
It's something kind of cruel, isn't there, about Sergio Busquets? We highlighted him earlier on and said, look, he's the only player still to feature in this Spain side from 2010 when they won the World Cup, and he walks up and he has his penalty saved.
I know. Look, we've said this tournament, and every major tournament, particular World Cups, you're going to get a passing of the guard. And we've had the discussion around the Ronaldos, around the Messis, but Sergio Busquets, he's another one of the greats, and really, this ultimately will be most likely his final tournament, and it's such a shame to have ended in this way. But when you look at this Spain team, they're a young team, they're a team that needs to mature, needs to play in these big games, and ultimately they've got their identity. You always know how a Spanish team is going to play, but this 100% is the passing the guard, and that great Spanish team that we all watched in 2010, he's the last of them.
Yeah, and Morocco are the team that booked their place in the quarter-final. It's the first time they go into a quarter-finals of a World Cup in their history. We mentioned the word team. That was a complete team performance to stay in there, to keep Spain out, to hold their nerve through extra time as well, and to push it to penalties, and then to finish off a Spanish team that know how to go the distance in a World Cup, who know how to win in a World Cup, to finish them off and book themselves a place in the next round is nothing short of heroic.